What's up, YouTube? Someone decided to finally make a video on me and my controversial takes. Want to say that I'm a man of my word, and I stand by what I say, and I mean what I say. We are going to address some of the issues that were brought up, and yeah, let's get right into it. Once I joined at the age of 18, I started to notice the military is full of degenerates, full of uneducated people.
The thing about fighting me is that you're not going to beat my ass. You're not going to beat my ass. You're not going to beat, I'm going to beat you. You're going to beat this, I'm going to beat you up.
Full of older people who are illogical. I just want to say right off the back, that video 100% proves and details my point to a T. What even was that? Yes, the military is full of a lot of degenerates and a lot of uneducated people. Does that mean that everybody in the military is uneducated or degenerative? No, but a lot are, and I'm here to speak the truth. Honesty is the best policy. Let's continue. Cool. Who don't understand the way that life actually works.
Why the would you have your goddamn hands in your pockets? Tell me a goddamn smart ass remark again.
Full of 100% proving my point once again. A 30, 40-year-old something man yelling at a kid because he had his hands in his pockets. Am I the only one that seems to think that that isn't reasonable? It's not that deep. I understand structure, military, etc., military bearing, but is it really that deep on a substantial level? With life's existence, is it that deep? Additionally, I'm sure this video was made beforehand, but hands in the pocket is fully allowed now. And I want to touch on the fact that, yes, a lot of older people that I've talked to in my experience in the Navy do not understand the way that life actually works. And I'm here to address that later on in this video. I will teach you all how life works. It's important to educate yourself whenever the chance is given. You have to be the student before you can be the teacher, regardless of age. Let's continue. Educated people, I thought that I would consistently be doing something that made me feel like I had a purpose in life.
I may not be the prettiest fucking sailor. I may not be the best. I may be annoying and a pain in the ass times. Because what matters to me is the life I have begun as a United States Navy sailor. You may think, oh, well, she's just a sailor. No, I'm not just a sailor.
Meet my new favorite ED solution that works 5 times faster than pills. Check out Rougiette Ready.
That video is sad, man. It's sad to see. You can tell that she's facing the social pressures of the military. You can tell that she's probably been bullied throughout her journey. And yeah, it's sad. That's how some people are. But it highlights my point. It's not all rainbows and sunshine over here, you know. And some people can't take that mentally. They got programs in here for a reason.
Gen Z is insane. They are complaining about the military. I'm sorry.
I want to say this. If you perceive my video as complaining and not spreading awareness and being honest and transparent with my viewers, then you are part of the problem. You are 100% part of the problem. You know how they say perception is reality? A lot of y'all's reality is misconstrued. A lot of y'all are living in a false reality. You don't understand the deeper meaning or understand how life actually works. As I've said before, I'm spreading awareness. They hate when men speak up about any issue, about any topic. And I understand that a lot of y'all's mindset is morphed. That's what y'all were made to believe in. And they love people like you. That's what the system wants. Understand the world is full of control. The system wants people like you who work their 9-to-5 wage slave, go home, spend their money on that car lease, that mortgage, pay the bank, and guess what? The government gets it all back whenever you die. So essentially, they love people like you. Yeah, give us that interest. Pay us that extra money. Buy a house for $500K and give us $500K interest. That's what we want. We love people like you. Go to college. Give us money to go to college. Yeah, we'll join the military. We'll fund your college. And then you're going to get out of college with your bachelor's degree or whatever the case may be. And you're going to be making your 60, 70K a year and be another part of the system. Keep continuing down that path and having that mindset. It's great for you. Money's not even real.
Getting paychecks, not having to probably deploy as much or having that bad of a life is insane to me. We're going to go through this first one because this is probably going to be a new series, because if you guys have not checked out my first episode of kind of reacting to Gen Z military, check that one up right there, because I think that popped off and a lot of people agree with some of the stuff I said and had their own takes as well. But let's jump into the first video.
Yeah, additionally, with the complaining, I'm not complaining at all, man. I like the stable income. I like my 8K a month. The military is what you make it, 100%. But I will say this, 99% of the time, like I've said, you sit around. But they do get their payback. They get their payback on duty days, when you're on that ship, when you do inserts, whenever you do training basic phase events, whenever you do underways deployments, you're away from your family. Trust me, the Navy's going to get their time back. You spend a lot more time being overworked than you do sitting around. But what I'm saying is the schedule is terrible for military members. Let's see, in port, you'll spend months of sitting around. Maybe you'll do maintenance, paint a P-way, sweep every day, glorified janitor, and then all of a sudden it gets hectic. So the transition from doing nothing, and you don't understand that boredom kills. When you're sitting around, and if you're educated or intelligent enough, you would notice that the time that you spend sitting around is time wasted. And time is the most valuable thing that we have in life. And time is not your friend, it's your enemy, and it's working against you. So if you're intelligent enough to understand that, you're not going to sit around in the military for 20 years thinking about what could have been, because you're going to live life full of regrets. That's why I plan on getting out after my shore duty. And that's it. Did my 8 years, served my country, did what I had to do. You know, joining the military at 18, I thought to myself, I'm going to make this a career, use all the benefits, do my 20 years, get my retirement plan. And I thought that would be fulfilling, meaningful, and purposeful. But once I joined at the age of 18, I started to notice the military is full of degenerates, full of uneducated people.
I have to pause right here. Uneducated people. You know, that is fine and dandy to think people in the military are uneducated, dumb. There's a lot of enlisted that have master's degrees and stuff for whatever reason. Even people that have doctorates that I've known that have been enlisted as well. But to sit here and say people are degenerates and aren't educated is kind of an oxymoron coming from somebody that has, I have tattoos, by the way, on my entire body, from my back to my leg, whatever. I have no judgment against that, but I'm like, other people do and have a hard time getting jobs. So even with this new Gen Z saying, we love hand tattoos. But on top of that, not smart to say, let me wear my command.
Okay, I'm going to get into that. You have to find different ways to measure intelligence or education. What you're talking about is a school level education. Just because somebody has a master's degree doesn't mean that they could be the smartest person on earth. They could be dumb as rocks. All you have to do is graduate. That's what you're referring to. Don't care about the degree. Don't care about the high school education. The truth is, are you experienced in life? Are you intelligent about life? And do you understand the way that life actually works? The world is full of control. And the world is full of propaganda, the news, the media, everything else wants you to be stuck in your job. They want you to be stuck and be a part of this system. I'm not trying to speak too much on it because I feel like it gets more political, but just understand they love people like you. Work their 9 to 5, go home, repeat, and then give everything that you ever worked for to them. And then your next generation carries on, and that's what happens. I refuse to be average. I know how great I am. I know my potential, and I will break through. I refuse to be constrained by my mind. I control my emotions. I'm stoic, ambitious, and I know where I'm going in life. And if you can't follow that, then fine. The hardest part about being right is by the time that most people believe you, it'll already be too late. Let's continue.
I work at currently, I'm going to wear their name, logo, identifying as part of that. I don't care if it's your rank or not. People are going to find you. And that is Surface Combat Systems Training Command. Isn't that insane? Someone's going to put you in place that is probably educated. And this could have been a conversation not for TikTok.
Yeah. Additionally, I agree with that. I probably shouldn't award the cover. There's multiple different surface combat training systems commands. And yeah, I probably shouldn't award the cover, but I am a man of my word. And I mean what I say, and I stand for what I believe in. And nothing that I did was against the UCMJ. I'm perfectly fine, and I will continue to speak my opinion freely on my platform. It could have been a conversation offline, sure, 100%. But what good is telling one person when I could tell the whole world? That way they're informed, that way they're notified of what being inside of the Navy is actually like. Now, it differentiates from rate to rate, it differentiates from branch to branch. But my experience in the last nearly 6 years is this. So I'm going to tell it how it is. And if you don't like that, then fine, you don't have to watch it. But I mean what I say. That's the problem with a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all are cowards. A lot of y'all are too scared to speak up. Closed mouths don't get fed. You probably heard that before if you're in the military. And you're just in this order-driven mindset. They love when you don't question anything. They want you to do what you're told and just go on about it. You know what the saddest part is about being in the military? All of these wars that happen, they don't even tell their enlisted military members. They just tell you, like, yeah, Israel and Hamas is happening. But they don't tell you why. They don't give you any reasoning. They don't give you any briefs. And the real reason is they want their military members to not know what's going on. Because if you do, then you may have a formulation of an opinion that may stop you from actually participating. Educate yourselves. Educate yourselves. That's all I'm saying. Gen Z, yeah, y'all like to say that we're dumber. Y'all like to say that we are just not as intelligent as you are, that we're lazy. I'll get to that later on. Let's continue.
Full of older people who are illogical, who don't understand the way that life actually works. Their only experience is this, and you can very much tell. And 99% of the time, I sit around doing nothing. I've noticed that the military, I thought that I would consistently be doing something that made me feel like I had a purpose in life.
Yeah, I mean, I've already addressed that in this video. In the military, you don't do much. There's times where you do, but it all pertains to your job, or you go and help out another division. But most of the time, you're doing janitor work, cleaning up the ship, and then after that, you may paint a P-wave, maybe do some maintenance. Even if you learn something in rate, it's only helping you and beneficial to you in the Navy. If this is what you care about, this is your whole life, this is everything you want to dedicate to, then cool. But it's not going to help you out in the civilian world if you decide to get out and transfer. That's why so many people get trapped and stuck in here. A lot of people fall victim to this trap, man. And I want to additionally mention, you talk about the 20-year retirement. They switched it to TSP, your retirement's on you. And they match 5%. But yeah, ultimately, the 20 years isn't even worth staying in for anymore. You might as well do your 8, do your seashore rotation, and get out. And then you can still claim your TSP if you put your 5% or whatever it is into it. That's the smartest route to go. I would rather get out and know that I could have been something or could have been nothing than to stay in for 20 years, stay trapped, and then have regrets and always thinking what could have been. Right? Also, people get trapped because they start to have families. They spend all their money partying and drinking and wasting their lives. And the military's guaranteed income. They don't know what they want to do with their lives afterwards. That's why people get stuck. And every time the end of that contract comes up, now they have all these bills because they take on car loans, they take on mortgage payments, and you just simply can't get out anymore because of the money. And that's exactly what they want. The military is designed to trap you. Whether you believe it or not, you think with all these benefits, and let's go over those benefits. What is so great about the benefits? The GI Bill, yeah, control, systematic. They give that to you. It's great, pays for your college. But how much money are you really going to be making with that bachelor's degree if you get out the military? Probably less than when you're in the military. Yeah, they know what they're doing, man. And you're getting paid college tuition by the government. It's government funded, right? TA. What are we talking about here? You're just giving it right back to them. They want that. They want you to feed into the system. Do you get what I'm saying? It's all a trap, man. It's all a trap. And your brain is more like, you can't see clearly. You can't see the bigger picture in life, but I can. 24 years old. That's another thing. All these old heads are going to say, this kid doesn't know nothing about life. Let me ask you a question. Are you religious? You know how old Jesus was when he died? 30 years old. Are you going to tell me, sit there and say Jesus didn't know anything at 24, 25 years old of life? Yeah, think about that.
Sorry, I've spent a lot of time.
And no, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, so don't get that misconstrued either. I'm just saying, age is just a number. Gen Z, we have so much technology, so much information and knowledge, education, and the truth is, we're not dumber. Every generation will be smarter than the last. If you've been on this planet for 45 years and I've been on this planet for 24, let's just say 25. The last 25 years that I've known has been way more technological advanced than your whole 45 years of living. Therefore, it's almost as if I have the same life experience as you, but I had access to everything that you didn't have access to your first 20 years of living. If that makes sense to you, what I'm basically saying is somebody that's being born right now is going to have greater access to information, technology, and knowledge than I do. And by the time that they're 24, 25, they should be way more advanced than me if they actually put their brain to use. Because they had all the information to be accessible to. It's easy. Y'all hate Gen Z because we're not scared to speak up. We're not scared. The problem with y'all is y'all were order driven, and that was the mindset in which y'all were taught and brought up into. It was a product of y'all's environment. That's why you'll say we can't survive the old military. You have no clue what it was like to grind. These Gen Z kids, they grinded about things they were passionate about. When you look at video games, you may measure work in different metrics. But when you look at playing video games, people have spent months, and I mean months, losing sleep over grinding for a camo on a video game. Playing GTA, grinding for a penthouse, grinding for money, grinding for a nice car. That's work. That's hard work. You think that it isn't because it's behind a game screen, but trust me, if it's the right thing, we're willing to work harder than you ever will for it. 100%. And a lot of y'all just sit around when y'all are older in the military anyways and make us do all of the work. So what are we even talking about? What are we talking about? We would survive everything.
In the military, if I had what I would call a nothing job where you're not busting your on a regular basis doing manual labor or whatever else, I would say be lucky. Count your fucking chickens. Count your eggs, whatever comes first. But I'm telling you, dude, you're mad that you've won the lotto of a guaranteed paycheck. You don't have to work that hard, and you have a lot of benefits, and you can leave and go do other stuff. And you could, at that time, go to college, go do other certifications. Like, oh my gosh, you're still complaining when it sounds like it's like you just don't know how to manage your own time and manage your expectations of thinking like there's some glorious thing from God gonna come down and be like,
join the United States Navy, and you shall rise a hero as an operations specialist.
No one.
That's funny. Look, I'm managing my time very efficiently. I mean, I'm married, take care of my wife. I go to work just like the rest of you do. When I get home, I go to the gym, weight lift, play basketball here and there, work on my social media content. And yeah, that's my life on repeat. Trying to build up this social media content because this is what I see as the way out in life nowadays is social media. It's very clear that the biggest money makers is through entertainment. So that's what I'm here to do. And that's what I'm working on. That's my journey in life. And it's very easy to do in the military on the side. I'm not complaining. As I stated before earlier in this video, I love the fact that I get paid to sit around. I love the fact that I get off early. Trust me, I do. I'm spreading awareness. I'm telling you what it's like. And you're mistaking that for complaining. Your reality or your perception of just how you see and interpret things is off. And that proves to me that you're not intelligent. Because if you were, you would understand like some of the people down in this comment section, that I'm right on a lot of points, and I'm just bringing it to the surface. I'm not scared to speak up about it. Regardless of my occupation, I'm still a human being. I'm still a person. People are going to do what they want to do regardless of their jobs, regardless of their job title. That's humanity. Understand how the world works. Understand that you could try to instill standards upon people, but you can't break people. You can't break strong people who are ambitious, who speak up. And if there wasn't for complaints, if these problems weren't brought up to the surface, nothing would ever be changed. You could compare it to the Charlie Kirk situation, compare it to Martin Luther King, compare it to JFK. When you bring these problems to the surface, that's when change happens. If we just let them roll all over us, nothing would ever change, and the world would stay screwed. Unscrew it.
Is going to do that. Every day is a Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. You don't know why you're going to do stuff all the time. But there are days it's going to click, and that usually happens later down in your experience in the military. It's tough. I get it. You cannot experience all of what the military has within like one enlistment.
But no, I want to say that the military has not been that tough. I have not tried that hard, and I was a jack of all trades. I was always the one they looked upon on my last warship to do everything, all the messages, everything. And that's the bad part about the military, man. If you're one of those people that are lazy, most of the time they don't use you. You have it better in life in the military because they look at you and they're like, well, he's incapable. Let's use the guy that knows everything. I didn't try that hard. And I want to say I feel pretty accomplished. I mean, I made my E5. I had my eSWAS pen. And I scored 99% on my advancement exam. For all of you saying that I'm dumb, thanks. Didn't study for the exam. Didn't try. Was qualified in everything on my last ship. All the way up to Sickwell. And yeah, the push is real. I mean, to me, the military is easy. I know how great I am. I know my capabilities. And it took me being in the military and going through these experiences to understand that about myself and learning and meeting all of these hundreds to thousands of different people, understanding their perspective on life. And that's what got me to think in the way that I think now. And it only benefits me. If you make your mindset, if you control your mindset to where it only benefits you, and you truly believe that, then you will never lose. You will never be a loser. You'll always be a winner. Stand up for what you believe in, man. It's hard, yes, because you're scared of social pressure and security. I'm not worried about what other people think, because I know that I'm right. 90% of the time, I'm right. There's times we're all wrong. We all make mistakes, but it's important whether or not you keep making them or you learn from them. Continue.
So most of us sit around doing nothing. I sat around in a warship, and I'm sitting around at this office, and it's boring to me. And the people that find meaningful things within the military, there's no benefit to you in doing so. It's all about whatever your specific, not even your job. You don't even do your job in the military. You do multiple other people's jobs. So it's all specific to one thing.
Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt. You make me sick, you big baby.
I find this hard. You lack understanding if you've been on a naval ship to understand culture. Did you not look around? Did you not see there is only so much space, so many people, that maybe the heritage of the United States Navy would be you actually having to do other jobs and other things as well. And then I thought about this after the fact. I'm like, you making this video just means your leadership says, oh, we're going to gainfully employ you. We are going to make sure you have something to do. You want to be micromanaged? I'll micromanage you. That is what you've asked by making this video. And I'm not here to like blow up your spot, but I'm like, dude, you blew up your own spot here. And people in the comments obviously are echoing.
All right, yeah, I 100% agree. I blew up my own spot. Man of my word, mean what I say. More people should be like me. More men and women should speak out publicly about what is actually to be. I mean, I'm in it. I'm living the experience. I'm in the military. Why would I not be able to tell other people who are interested in joining, such as recruiters do? Why would I not be able to speak on my experience? It's my life, isn't it? I want to share my life with other people. And there's no problem with that. Understand that when you put yourself out here on social media, regardless if you're a good or bad person, whatever you say, regardless of what you mean, regardless if you're right or not, you will always be pulled from both sides. There's always haters and there's always supporters. Do I understand the Navy tradition? I don't really understand where you were going with that, because you kind of just went on to something else. I mean, I didn't expect to do other divisions' work because we had nothing to do. You know, it's like an excuse. Their excuse is to make you do dumb things, such as sweeping in the rain. That way you're not sitting around doing nothing. So most of the time when you're sitting around doing nothing and you tell them that you're not doing anything, can you go home? They make you stay till 1600 anyways, and you end up doing something dumb, some meaningless task that means nothing. No, and that's illogical. It's illogical.
And they are respecting his perspective on this. They're not the same as me, but that's why we have this thing. If you have your comments or thoughts, put them down there. But some people say this. This person says, exactly, I'm getting the F out one more year, dead emoji. This person, Hobo Moonshine, said, fill the dead space with school. The goal is to get as much training, degrees, certifications as possible. Yeah, dude, I don't have an MBA.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% true. And if you're watching this, I encourage you all to spend your time in the military, educating yourself, get that college degree, and try to be something bigger and better in life. My channel, my perception on life, is all about bettering and helping other people. And I'm going to be completely honest and transparent on everything. I 100% agree. You should be working on all of that. And I'm working on my finance major, my bachelor's as we speak, because I want to make money. I don't care. I understand I'm going to have to do the things that I don't want to do. I don't necessarily have to be passionate about it. Most of these jobs out here, civilian world, military, whether or not you like them, it doesn't matter as a man. I understand that being a man is struggling, sacrifices, and doing the things that you don't want to do, and being comfortable with doing the uncomfortable on a day-to-day basis in order to support your family, to protect and provide, to have money. What controls this world? Money. What does money come with? Greed, power, control. That is how the world is run. If you don't have it, you're screwed. You're poor and you're broke. Your mindset, doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter your opinions, nobody cares. A lot of you end up homeless, veterans end up homeless. Nobody cares about you as a man. You have to make them care, you have to make them believe in you, and you have to keep actually trying. There's no time for procrastination. That is my whole point, that's my whole purpose. Yes, if you're in the military, please do get your college. Use your benefits to your full advantage.
Some of you guys get that joke, but I'll tell you what.
Oh, and I forgot that we went over comments. Yeah, a lot of people my age that I've spoken to in the Navy 100% agree. I talked to the higher ups about the same thing, and a lot of them are miserable at 15 years of serving this country, of serving in the military. A lot of them say they're miserable. They're like, 5 more years, I just want to retire on shore duty, blah, blah, blah. And then they get stuck in the trap that I mentioned earlier, and they hate it. They hate their lives. I mean, look at most of them. Some of them are 30, 35, and they look like they're 50. It's stressful environments. It's lack of sleep. When you wake up at 3 a.m. every morning, when you're in the middle of a war in the Middle East. When I was on my 2023 deployment, that's where we were. When Israel and Hamas popped off, I was in between that. You have to understand the military very much ages you, and you see all forms of life. Experience so much. It happens, man. It happens. And in this life, I can understand how it's for some, but it's not for many. I refuse for it to be for me. It's just not for me. And it's simple as that.
I do have a degree that is equivalent in healthcare, but I used my time in the military, worked night shift, did a bunch of things to get certified to have a life outside that was better. I always tell people there are 2 truths about the military in general. You are a glorified janitor. Number 1, you forgot when you signed the contract, they said you're going to this A school and you're going to boot camp. Doesn't mean you are guaranteed to do that job. That's just the truth. Secondly, this is the greatest 2-week notice that you could ever have. You know when that day is going to end. You know. Now, that's not the only complainer we have out here.
Okay, so that's the end of the video. No, you know what job you're going to do when you join the Navy. You sign for that rate. You go to the A school for your rating. So you do know what you're essentially pretty much going to be doing. I don't know how it works in other branches, but I know for me, for a fact, I chose my rating, and that's how it is. For the 2 weeks notice, when you're a civilian, you can just leave whenever you want. When you're in the military, it's not the greatest 2 weeks notice. It's more like a drag, and it's stressful, because if you don't like this, you sincerely hate this, and you're going through mental health issues, and you're having problems that just can't be fixed, and the military is making it worse on you, you can't just leave whenever you want to, and you need the paycheck. You know, so how could I put this? It's not the greatest 2 week notice. That's all I'm gonna say. And when you do get that DD 214, if you do something in order to get kicked out, it still takes a long time to be processed out. Months. Some people even take a year and a half. I've seen it. So yeah, I don't agree with that, either of that. But we've come to the end of this video. One thing I would like to say is, I like how you didn't really try to, how do I say, you weren't really that biased. You were kind of on both sides of the fence. You've seen it as complaining. I can understand. I know I said a lot in this video. I can understand if you've seen it as complaining. But I need you to understand that I was spreading awareness. I was spreading purpose. I was telling you what it is actually like being in the Navy. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. A lot of old heads are like, oh, we'll get you something to be employed. You act like I've never done work before. You act like anybody who's been in the military for multiple years has been slaved out. Trust me, we've been standing those double watches, 10 hours armed. We've been waking up at 1 a.m. every single night for months on at a time. We've been through the struggles. We've been through it all. Like, I don't understand some people's logic to think that you see a video online and take it completely out of context. There's never been a time where I've known somebody who works a job and has had the good side of it without having the bad. Every job has its good and bad sides. I'm just spreading awareness on what the military is for my branch, for the most part. This is what I see. This is what I've observed. This is what I analyze, and I've broken it down. I've had conversations with older people many times on watch. People my age. I've noticed that me personally, I'm an intelligent individual because I've educated myself. I've watched other people who are older than me. Thank you very much. And that's where I get a lot of my information, my knowledge from. I understand people who are where I want to be in life. Why would I listen to somebody on the internet if they're not where I want to be in life? A lot of y'all are still 9-to-5 workers. I'm not listening to y'all. I'm not listening to your mindset, your order-driven mindset, your part of the system mindset. I'm listening to influencers who are rich, who have lived a poor life, who have built themselves up, and yeah, they're way ahead of where a lot of you have gotten in life. And that's not to clown on you. It's not to disrespect you. It's to be truthfully and brutally honest with you. Look in the mirror, take self-accountability, and your life is a reflection of what the amount of work you put in. And that's the way that I see it. So, Nikki, I enjoyed this video. Thank you for giving me more fame, more clout, putting my name out there. Which you didn't really put my name out there, but you put my face out there more. Trust me, I've been making these videos for about a year now. I've said a lot of stuff, and I meant every single word I said. Be a man, stand up for what you believe in, and yeah, they try to take away our freedom of speech, your First Amendment. People don't like it. People get killed over speaking freely. People don't like when somebody has opinions and they stand on them. They want to just run you over. They just want to control you. And that's the beautiful thing about life, man. Haters and supporters, the beautiful thing about life is we can all have these opinions and we can all talk and speak about it. And if anybody wants to speak about it down in the comment section below, feel free. I'm here. If you like this content, like, subscribe, and I'll see you.